So let's talk about liberal spending in Canada. From Cat Canada here, 1.4 million of your taxpayer dollars to strengthen the resilience of LGBTQI rights movements in North Africa. North Africa. Canadian DOGE now, she says, North Africa is none of our business, quite frankly. Let's see. Resilience of Francophone LGBTQI plus movements in North Africa. What does I stand for again? Is it incomprehensible? The plus, I know the plus is just the stuff they don't know what it is yet, but they know it definitely exists. North Africa. This seems like an enormous waste of money. The project aims to strengthen the resilience of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex rights movements in North Africa, specifically in Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. This is none of our damn business. None of our business. We can't afford it. You know, Trudeau doubled the national debt. He doubled it. It's at, I think, about 1.3 trillion right now. He's doubled it since he's gotten in. When Canada has a 1.4 trillion dollar national debt, we should not be spending money on any of this stuff. It should just be for Canadians. And this shouldn't even be spent on Canadians because that's just an utter waste of money. What's this one here? Oh, we got another one. What's this one? Gay Ottawa Volleyball. This is $20,000. A 5-year strategic and fundraising plan. Through this 21-month project, Gay Ottawa Volleyball will build stronger capacity of alphabet community organizations and networks to advance the alphabet equality. Through volleyball, it will address Gay Ottawa's volleyball's capacity to strategically expand and develop as an organization to provide opportunities for safe and inclusive sport for alphabet community. All of these letters, the two spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, plus, and the plus just means all the things they don't have a word for, but they know they exist. It should just be the G. Build stronger capacity for G community organizations, but they put them all in together so that if you have any issue with any of it, you're against everything. That's why they do this. Even when this clearly is just one of these letters, this is for just one of these letters, right? They still group it all in together. This is how they get away with saying that you're anti-LGBT, blah, 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 all the letters. If you're like, have just some questions about, perhaps children can't consent to, chemical castration and puberty blockers or double mastectomies, right? This is how they then accuse you of being against all of the letters. When you're like, no, I'm not actually. I'm not even against any of the letters. I'm just against sterilizing children because they're confused. And for one thing, the G's are doing just fine in Canada. They don't need this. Let's see. Global Affairs Canada's foreign aid database has been restored. The department denied that the database was taken down on purpose, citing technical difficulties as the culprit. Yeah, people started looking into it. We're going to look into it. And all of a sudden it went down for some reason. I wonder if anything got removed. Franco Terrazzano. 1,700 on Lesbian Pirates musical, and a Lesbian Pirates musical. Very nice. 3,900 for a frank discussion of how to do a proper land acknowledgement. Millions on vacant land in Africa and properties in Afghanistan we abandoned to the Taliban. Great. 7,500 to promote DEI at a music festival in Estonia. Very nice. 12,000 so seniors in other countries could talk about their sex lives. 7.2 million for gender responsive systems approach to universal healthcare in the Philippines. 13,000 for an Oscars party in LA. 8,800 for a show called Whose Jizz Is This? I'm saying that Lesbian Pirates is none of our business. Vacant land in Africa and Afghanistan is none of our business. Seniors in other countries talking about their sex lives is none of our business. Gender responsive systems approach to universal healthcare in the Philippines is none of our business. This is the insanity. Okay. Mark Nixon breaking $15.5 billion for feminist international assistance from 2022 to 2023. While food banks are overwhelmed, housing is unaffordable, healthcare is in crisis, maybe try fixing Canada first. I say that feminist international assistance is none of our business. We shouldn't be paying for it. How about this? I seriously can't believe where my tax dollars are going, and that Global Affairs Canada has suddenly wiped their entire public database of foreign spending. It is back up again. Let's see, what do we got here? United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Sub-Saharan Africa, 42 million. 2022, 2021. Let's see, strengthening sexual and reproductive health in Benin, Burkina Faso, and Mali, $42 million. Climate Smart Agriculture and Food Systems Fund, 42 million. Building resilience through safety nets in South Sudan, 41 million. Realizing gender equality, attitudinal change, 41 million. World Vision Canada. So you get the point. It's not just the US that has a problem with just throwing money away, just piling up money and burning it. Let's go here. All right, so what have we got here? Government of Canada website here. Government contracts over $10,000. 2019, 45 million for United Van Lines, employee relocation outside Canada or return. So $45 million for United Van Lines for employee relocation. 2024, redevelop Canada's unused property in Colombo, Sri Lanka to accommodate the Chancery of the High Commission of Canada in Sri Lanka. Again, I'm kind of the opinion that Sri Lanka is none of our business. Why do we need to do that exactly? That's 2024. So definitely our national debt has been doubled by that point. What do we have here? Construction services for the redevelopment construction of the High Commission of Canada in Australia, 28 million. The scope of the project is to demolish the existing 1,500 square foot structure and redevelop Canada's property into a newly designed, purpose-built facility. So they were getting away with a 1,500 square foot structure. How big is this new one? $28 million? How about this one? $25 million for other professional services not elsewhere specified. So, in other words, I don't know, something. Probably something important. Canada Media Fund Corporation. This is for 2020, 222 million. Canada Media Fund Corporation, 2023, 216 million. Canada Media Fund Corporation, 190 million. That's for 2022. So, what is Canada Media Fund Corporation? So, this is supposed to be giving money for Canadian media. Guess what? They've got a big embedding equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility in the audiovisual industry. Unsurprisingly, nobody's ever heard of anything that's actually been funded through this. Let's see. All in embedding equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility in the audiovisual industry. So this is what hundreds of millions of dollars a year is going to. Do you notice a pattern here? Do you notice a pattern? There's, Canada is diverse, but there's a kind of diversity that we don't really see in any of this. Who's missing? Who's missing from all of this? Not so diverse, actually, it seems. Not as diverse as it should be, you would think. So this is, at least a couple of $100 million a year for this. And nobody's ever heard of anything that's being funded by this, by the way. This is an utter total waste of money. This is dedicated to spreading the woke mind virus and using tax dollars to do it. Let's see. Grants and contributions. I just typed in racism. So let's see. Foundation for Black Communities, almost $200 million. Initiatives that aim to combat anti-Black racism and improve social and economic outcomes in Black communities. Canada is not a racist place. This is not required. This $200 million is not required. They profit. There's perverse incentives to put out this myth that Canada is this horribly racist place that needs to be constantly apologizing and looking inside itself. It's not true. And I don't think we should be funding this shit. Let's see, what's this one? Increasing the number of women leaders across Canada through the development of a national caucus of elected women leaders. There's 4.7 million. Here's 2.7 million. Building a network for equity and racial justice. They need all of this to keep perpetuating the myth, the lie that Canada is this horribly racist place. This benefits left-wing politics. And the media goes to these kinds of organizations for confirmation that, of course, everybody who disagrees with them or doesn't like what they say or what they read off their teleprompters is a racist or phobe of some kind. All right, let's move on. So this is what I found just in a couple of hours before the stream. Reinforcing community resilience against disinformation in Mali. Mali's none of our business. Mali is none of our damn business. Why are we sending money there? Reinforce community resilience against disinformation in Mali. Don't care. In fact, of course, you know that they're probably getting too much actual information. They're getting too much truth. So they've got to combat that. Building a culture of peaceful pluralism in Myanmar and Sri Lanka. Peaceful pluralism in Myanmar and Sri Lanka is none of our goddamn business. No money. This project aims to tackle rising hate speech. I don't know. It's Myanmar and Sri Lanka. Youth Vulnerability Reduction Protocol. Validation and pilot of a multi-sector upstream vulnerability detection and prevention protocol for supporting vulnerable Indigenous, Black, and hate-motivated youth. What does that even mean? I think that's just intentionally opaque so that nobody really knows what they're doing with the money. The almost $3.4 million. What do we got here? Here's $2.5 million collaborating with the UN and development partners. We don't want that. This is about hate speech, misinformation, disinformation, blah, blah, blah. No, get nothing. Kami gets nothing. Let's see. Countering election disinformation in Liberia, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. There's $2 million out the window. There's $2 million they might have well have just piled up in a big pile and put gasoline on it and lit it on fire. How much of this stuff is just money laundering? How much of this is just a scam, is a fraud? Does anybody actually know what happens to this money? I mean, Trudeau's been handing it out, so I guess you can just assume no. Peace Online. Peaceful, effective approaches for connecting Ethiopians online. Ethiopians online is none of our business. We should not be giving $1.5 million for that. I'm sorry. Working together to combat the rise of anti-alphabet plus hate. $1.5 million. That's Fierté Canada Pride. So interestingly, Fierté Canada Pride. Let's see. Sudbury Pride decides not to hold a parade following backlash over police presence. That's interesting. Fierté Sudbury Pride is backtracking on an earlier decision to go ahead with its annual parade, as some have expressed concerns over police involvement in the event. So they're canceling it because the police are involved and they're far leftists and they're defund the police people. Why are we giving this money to this insanity? What's this one? Journalists for Human Rights. Tackling misinformation through media to promote peace building in South Sudan. Again, tackling misinformation, I am certain in this context means tackling information and providing misinformation. But again, South Sudan is none of our goddamn business. $1.2 million for that. Let's see. Queering, see they put ear in the middle, queering each other. Collaboration for alphabet inclusion in PEI, Prince Edward Island. $1.1 million. Is that really necessary? Yes, they have to find all that hate. They have to find all the hate so the CBC will have something to talk about. Franco Queer. Training demystification and empowerment project for the respect and inclusion of alphabet francophones in Ontario. It just goes on and on with this stuff. You would think that Canada was just this most bigoted country in the world, wouldn't you? It's not. This is all, what is it, buying votes? It's to perpetuate the myth that leftist politicians profit off, that Canada is in fact this super bigoted genocide state that desperately needs fixing and only they can do it. If it's got demystification in it, you ain't getting $1.1 million. In my books, United Nations Development Program, we should have nothing to do with the United Nations. There's $1 million. Strengthening social cohesion and conflict prevention during elections in Senegal. Do I need to say it again? Senegal is none of our business. It just goes on and on and on. It's just hate, 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 hate. Millions, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, I guess. Just hate, hate, hate. Canada's a terrible place. Hate, hate, hate. More money for hate. More money to fight hate. Hate, 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 hate on every corner. There's hate hiding under your bed right now. There's hate in your closet. It's everywhere, this hate. You just need to spend all of Canada's money to fight all the hate in the horrible, hateful country that Canada, the internationally considered to be the hate capital of the world. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.